And it's a good morning, the last day of the year, December 31st, the day where everyone's making resolutions. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. And I'm stirring my coffee with chopsticks, using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. We'll get started in just a second with some of my observations, but first, coffee. Nice. Guatemalan today. Very good. One of the things that I like to do with my coffee is I put hot water in the cup from the tap. Let the cup sit before I put the coffee in it. And I also heat up my milk as well in the microwave. That's what I do. Some people heat it up on the stove. I just nuke it quick. Put it in a measuring cup. So when I have milk in my coffee. And I'm out in the Van Gogh room. For those of you that don't know this, a lot of this started outside in a shed of a tool shed. It's a garden shed in my backyard. And literally half of it is a couple chairs, a lamp, some books, some things to make it more homey when I want to read, meditate, plan, pray, think, come out and have a pipe. I come out here because I don't smoke a pipe in the house because of animals and other people. And so it's kind of like a, how can I put it? It's not a man cave. It's one of my man caves because I truly believe that a man's house is his man cave. A man doesn't need to escape his own home to have a man cave. Do you understand that? You don't escape to have your place. No one kicks you out. No one pushes you out. If you go out, you do so because of consideration. That's all. And that's what I'm doing. It's considerate because this is where I come out and smoke a pipe. You might remember me saying, it's not good for a man to be sensitive. It's better to be considerate than sensitive. Because you need you, and people need you to be strong and intuitive, which are natural things. Sensitivity is not a male trait. People say, well, we have a little bit of feminine, a little bit of masculine in us. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? That is not true. That is not true. You are to develop if you're a man, you develop your masculine traits. If you're a woman, you develop your feminine traits. You'll find that men who try to make themselves more feminine in order to get women thinking they're going to attract more women, you're going to find that they end up losing more than they gain. Women are attracted to masculine men. So the idea is not to tone down your masculinity. Don't be a macho asshole. There's a difference. And that's usually what people are talking about, is the macho jerk-off. Not masculine men. Masculine men always win. Macho men lose a lot. And they give masculine men a bad rap. Women, don't try to be more manly. Accentuate your femininity. There's a difference. Now this is for the ladies. There's a difference between accentuating your femininity and accentuating your sexuality. That doesn't mean more skin, more cleavage. That doesn't mean being more sexual. That doesn't mean barefoot, pregnant, and making sandwiches either. Ladies, be ladylike. Men, be masculine. And of course, one of the things now in pop culture and in the media is that it's all fluid. I got this itch in my face right here. Anyways, let's get started. But first again, coffee. I'm fired right out of a cannon this morning, aren't I? Not really the morning vibe you were looking for. When it comes to before and after pictures, shouldn't the fat picture be the after picture? wasn't everybody thin to begin with? That's the true before picture. The fat is the true after picture. So it should be before, after, and then after the after. Everybody was thinner first. That's the real before pic. Then whatever happened, the lack of self-care. So the fat pic is really the after pic. Think about it. It flies in the face of what you see all over social media today. I just saw an ad for an assistant shampooist. Now this is where grammar and punctuation is important. I know what they meant, assistant/shampooist, but it looked like assistant shampooist. Now, being a shampooist is one of the lowest jobs in a salon. It can be a very high-paying job if you do your job right, but it's one of the most important jobs. But an assistant shampooist? Can you imagine the shampooist saying to the assistant shampooist, "One more pump of the conditioner, please. A towel, please. Shampoo, please." It just made me laugh. Assistant shampooist. There's a furniture manufacturer in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania, gives employees the option of hourly wage or a piecework rate. He has a handful of Amish young men on staff, and upon hiring, the Amish men always choose the piecework rate. Guess what? They always make 2 to 3 times more than the hourly wage employees, their counterparts, because they know what it's like to connect hustle to income as opposed to like a nice $15 an hour. Does that make sense? What if we went to piecework and actual working for things produced? What if we hired people based upon outcome? I do believe in equality of opportunity, but equality of opportunity does not always ensure equality of outcome. Hence, the ladder and how some people climb. So I do, and I'm taking into account people who sleep their way to the top, people who manipulate their way to the top. But let's just talk about performance, because I don't want to give commentary on the other BS. Performance. We've started in the past 5 to 10 years participation trophies, awards for just showing up. Not good. So now there's a culture and a generation of people who think that they deserve something just for being there. Just for being female, just for being male, just for being this, just for being that, just for being fill in the blank. And I'm not even saying what those blanks are. You fill in the blank. Piecework is better than an hourly wage. And they make 2 to 3 times more than the people who do hourly wage agreements. Is it me, or do you hear Benny Hill singing whenever you see Ozzy Osbourne singing? When you're done with this, on YouTube, just watch Ozzy Osbourne in concert. It sounds exactly like Benny Hill singing. I can't get over the fact. Now, all I hear is Benny Hill. When you hear it, you're gonna think of me and you're gonna laugh. I have a follower who is looking for a beardsmith in Madison, Wisconsin. Do you live in Madison or nearby? If you have any suggestions, please put it in the comments down below. That'll be important. The last thing you want to do is go to a butcher or a chain hair place after having the patience to grow out your beard for months. So if you know of anybody in Madison, Wisconsin, put it down below. Many people do travel. Believe it or not, people come from 21 states and 8 countries to sit in my chair. Now, I know I look like a redneck here, sitting out in a cabin, and many of you don't know me as a hairstylist and a barber. You don't know me. You know me as the guy who drinks coffee in the morning. Speaking of coffee. Oh, that's so good. But what I do for a living, I work in the hair industry, for those of you that are new to this game here. So if you know somebody in Madison, Wisconsin, that knows how to sculpt a beard properly. The movie Somm, S-O-M-M, you must see it. You're going to have 3 new miles of neurons in your brain after watching the movie Somm. I believe it's on Netflix. Do whatever you can and watch it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, or absence makes the heart wander? What do you think? Put your comment down below after you subscribed to the channel. Oh, later on today, the giveaway. I have the person who actually won the giveaway from Saturday. I'll be announcing that. Best film of the year in 2013 is called The Spectacular Now. You might not have ever even heard of it. It wasn't even nominated. Mark my words, when you see this little independent gem of a film, you're going to agree. In 2013, it was the film. It was the film that I measured all others against. Now, you're going to watch the trailer on YouTube. The trailer is horrible. It does not convey what the movie is about. And I hate when they do that. When people, because a lot of people will look up the previews and say, oh, I don't want to see that. Don't go by what the trailer or previews say. If you can, I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime or on Netflix or on demand on your local cable provider. See the movie The Spectacular Now, especially if you're a man. Especially if you're a man. And especially if you ever had issues with your father. I'm warning you ahead of time. And you know me, I'm not a crybaby. But this was the kind of movie where I literally, at that moment, there was a certain few moments where it really did spark some emotions in me. It touched something in me. It's so well done. You might relate to it. The movie is called The Spectacular Now. And then when you watch it, email me and tell me what you thought of it. Email me at gb@georgebruno.com. That would be important for me to hear your opinion of the movie. And that might be in a couple days. It might be a week from now. My vocal role models. Somebody actually emailed me yesterday. I'm going to tell you who that is. And someone asked me the question. They said, how do you speak the way you do? How do you modulate your periods of silence? All the stuff that you do to sound the way that you sound. How do you do that? Is that natural or is it training? And it's a person that you all know, and I won't say his name, and a person you all follow. I guarantee that. And I said, it started for me when I was about 8 years old. And it goes like this. I talked about it in the community section here on YouTube. I started recording my voice because I kind of felt invisible as a kid. I was skinny. I felt insignificant. Grew up in a busy family. And I didn't have a voice. I felt like an invisible kid. And at 8 years old, my youngest brother was born, so a lot of attention went to the baby. So I started recording myself on a reel-to-reel tape recorder, just reading out loud in it. And I still have that reel-to-reel tape recorder to this day. It's amazing. And I would play it back and listen to my voice. And then I got to the point where I was looking in a mirror and recording my voice while I was watching my mouth move. And of course, growing up in upstate New York, there's this Albany accent. I can tell people from upstate New York. It's called a regionalism. And I developed on purpose a thing called a North American neutral accent, where you listen to me and you can't tell where I'm from. And I worked really hard at it. Like, my mom is from Brooklyn. When you listen to my mom, you can hear Brooklyn. So I worked hard at getting rid of this hybrid accent that I had. So when you listen to me now, you can't tell where I'm from. East Coast, West Coast, North or South, or whatever city. I wanted to be universally clear, universally accepted in any market. And I did that. When I would get mail, I would literally open up the mail and read out loud. And I have a training program. I've trained literally hundreds and hundreds of students in peak vocal performance over the past 30 years. You might not be a good speaker. I can teach you how to do that. And I'm developing a program in 2019 that's going to teach you how to be a better speaker. To literally speak better with your mouth, speak well in front of people, to people, because my hypothesis was, which was proven, that when you speak well, you earn more. It's a fact. You could speak well and still not do the work and be broke. But if you do the work and you're diligent in everything you do and speak well, you're going to earn more. You might say, I'm working my butt off and I'm not getting anywhere. I can help you communicate better. And I'm developing a program for that in 2019. So he asked me, how did you do this? And I just said, it's just years of practicing. Years. I open my mail up and I read my mail out loud. I have several exercises that I do. My tempo, cadence, modulation, depth of voice. Now, I'm using a lapel mic here. I'm not even using a studio mic. I have a Blue Yeti. Good microphone. It's good for podcasting, web work, YouTube, that kind of thing. And in my new studio, I probably will be using the Blue Yeti for my audio, most likely. And I will have a completely different sound. And when I ended up being on the radio, what I didn't want to do was be like radio voice guy. I was not interested in radio voice guy or movie trailer guy. In a world, like that kind of stuff. Or welcome to WABC. I'm not that guy. And I'm not a audiobook narration guy. I'm an interview guy. And the way that I do it, if you've watched my interviews, I get people thinking and bring the best out of them. I don't want to overwhelm them. I don't want you to see or hear me. When I interview people, it's about the interviewee, the person being interviewed, their data, their information, their experience, their life. It's about them. It's not about me. So I developed my voice over the years. I modeled it after certain people. And let me tell you who I modeled my voice after. Or I would say who was a good influence on me. Charlton Heston, Orson Welles, Rod Serling from Twilight Zone, Gregory Peck, Lorne Greene from Bonanza, and Garrison Keillor from Prairie Home Companion that you might have listened to on NPR for many years. My favorite voices in the whole world. As far as cadence is concerned, I love Joe Mantegna. He was an actor. He ended up being on Criminal Minds, if you ever saw that show. I love his cadence, the way his tempo, the beat in which he talks. The culture war has gone so wacky, I can't tell the real news from The Onion or the Babylon Bee. It used to be that parody news sites were the only thing that could make me laugh about media and culture, which is my specialty. Now the real thing is actually a parody. When I hear things going on in media, when I hear things going on in politics, sometimes I ask myself, is that a joke? And people who know me will say, this is not a joke. I'm not joking. I'm not funny. This is true. Before they tell me what's going on. Because they see what I call like the Tucker Carlson look on my face, like the look I'm talking about. And finally, on my to-do list for 2019, and you know this already, improve my handwriting. I already know how to write. I already know the stories in my head and grammar, punctuation, telling stories. And typing for so long has kind of left my cursive skills malnourished because I spend so much time on the computer. So using fountain and dip pens, dip, right, it intentionally slows me down and helps me focus on my style. It's not get as many, like when you type, the goal is to be accurate and get as many words done as you can. When you write cursive with a fountain pen or a dip pen, the goal is to have handwriting that you can read. And the added plus is, if it's beautiful, it just seems to make it easier to read, and it's more of a joy to read. So what I'm doing in 2019 is I am improving my cursive skills and developing a style, because I have my, second grade style that I learned when I was 6 years old, 7 years old, and I want to go beyond that. And working with a dip pen and fountain pens with varying width nibs is going to help me do that. It's already helping me beyond what I can even imagine. Just a few minutes a day, and it's already working. Many people say things like, she's hot for an older woman. And I had this philosophy when I was 25 years old. I'd see a woman, no matter what her age, and I didn't think hot, I just thought attractive. People would say, they feel the need to put for an older woman in there. Even as a young man, I didn't notice age. I could see a woman that was 60 years old and beautiful and think there's a beautiful woman. I could see a woman who was 22 years old and say, there is a beautiful woman. I never, ever said for an older woman. I want you to start thinking about what beauty is versus hot. Hot is fleeting. Hot is something you manufacture in front of a mirror or with Photoshop. Beauty is something that's enduring. When I was doing hair events with women who were in their 20s and women who are in their 60s who were beautiful, true beauty is timeless and ageless. Doesn't matter. Some of my favorite women of all time are some of the old Hollywood women. Ava Gardner, stunning. I have an Ava Gardner story for you too. Sometime I'll tell you. Absolutely stunning. The woman, Elsa Lanchester, who played the Bride of Frankenstein. If you just Google her and look at her images, gorgeous. Just wow. Absolute. just old Hollywood beautiful. Who else do I think is beautiful? Diane Lane. Diane Lane floats my boat. At every stage of the game, I would say my favorite woman in films for over 20 years now, Diane Lane. And she's aging wonderfully. I love it. But there's beauty that just carries on. It's ageless and it's timeless. And yeah, she would be considered hot by some when she was younger. I just thought she was beautiful. Think about that. If she cancels at the last minute, she got another offer and it's not you. Do you understand? If she cancels at the last minute, this is for men, and she got another offer, it's not you. As my friend Rollo Tomasi says, you can't negotiate desire. And this is my once a month reminder for my followers of any age. And with that, I'm going to say happy last day of 2018. 2019 is the year you get unstuck. 2019 is the year that you put your foot down, change yourself. Why don't you start physically? And then that pursuit of excellence will spill over into other areas of your life: income, relationships, career. And then I always pair the unstuck statement with 2020 can be the year that you make your first million. That's possible. I hope you take that seriously. 2019 is the year that you get unstuck. I'm creating the Unstuck program with a newsletter. I'm creating the Speak Well, Earn More program. 2019 is going to be a year of programs for you that you can purchase, study, and implement on your own time. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be completely separate from this channel. That's coming soon, because I hope the best for you. I want you to have the experiences that I've had and how I've taken quantum leaps in my life and leveraged small areas of self-improvement to get huge, huge yields in my life. Practical things you can do, mindset changes. I'm not just a mindset guy, I'm also an action guy. One of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, talks about the principle of massive action in a certain area. Can you improve the way you speak in a short period of time? Absolutely. And with that, you need to finish your coffee and get on with your day. Don't stay out too late tonight. Go easy on the alcohol. Get a good night's sleep if you can. Tomorrow's the first day of 2019, the year that you get unstuck. And I will see you tomorrow, right here.